Someone that doesn't need your help spreading the word is, like, as I already said, Dave's favorite artist, Ed Sheeran, the greatest songwriter of our generation until yesterday. The movie came out and showed that. That it's really interesting to like be listening to an Ed Sheeran album so close to that movie, because
framed a lot of my thoughts, to be
it
honest.
did. And like I was thinking about, in that movie, he really does, or he's positioned as like this generation's Beatles, this songwriter and this amazing just creator of music. And I've never really seen that Sheeran that way. We talked about, what was it, Divide? Was that the last one?
Yeah, I don't even know if we talked about it, dog, to be honest. That was 2017. That was the last one he dropped.
We definitely talked about it.
Did
I remember.
The one with Shape of You, of course.
Yes. And at least what I remember, and maybe I'm just so podcasted, so like in the podcast zone now that every conversation I feel like we have is on the podcast. I remember us talking. Yeah, I remember us talking about how he's just this big sappy artist,
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I was listening to Number 6 Collaborations Project, which is, in a way a follow up to his 2011 Number 5 Collaborations Project, which I don't remember getting a lot of acclaim at the time, but also wasn't super tuned into Ed Sheeran at that point.
Well, that was an indie release. He had released all those EPs before even signing, so it was like before that, the first debut album. So yeah, I'm not sure how many people are aware of it at all. In fact, this naming convention probably did forced a lot of people to Google, because like, what the fuck does this mean? It's kind of a obtuse title until you realize it's actually following something up.
and I mean, I guess I'll start with you. How did you feel about this album? Because I feel like you can kind of get the sense I'm a little exasperated.
Oh yeah, I mean, so am I. Again, like, Ed Sheeran does not need us to talk about him at all. He's the number one artist on Spotify as soon as he dropped I Don't Care with Bieber. Divide from 17 with Shape of You was the best-selling album of 2017 and is the 8th best-selling album in the US of this decade. And this and Multiply are the 3rd and 4th best-selling UK albums of the decade, behind Adele's 2 albums. Like, he is a international superstar in the biggest possible sense. And it really can't be overstated, the numbers this dude does. It's kind of insane. And he's only 28 years old, despite feeling like he's been in our lives 8 years at least. And he's got 4 Grammys. He's a star. He's a superstar. But I don't think he's ever had a good album.
Oh wow!
And like, he has good songs you really can't deny. And even if you don't like, you're tired of hearing them because they got overplayed, they are still like, dynamite songs like Don't and Thinking Out Loud and A-Team, and I guess even Shape of You to a lesser extent. But as the singer-songwriter type that he is, and he kind of has always blended genres. You can listen back to that Number 5 Collaborations Project 2011. Featured on that is Devlin and Wiley, UK rap artists. He's always done the rap rock, putting his toe in that sphere since before he was famous, even though it got a lot more attention and hate than more recently. But I've always felt like his albums have just been a little lacking. Like, he's always just kind of played it really safe, in terms of, as you said, just being a sap and making these kind of bland, emotional songs that connect with people, but he doesn't feel like he's trying that hard. I think he definitely has album deep cuts that like his real hardcore fans probably would really ride for. But at least I feel like for most of like the bigger singles, and I mean, you go to Divide, I think every one of those songs has its own Wikipedia entry. That's how much streaming it did, right? But I've never really been wowed by stuff. In fact, he almost stands out. Like, obviously, his singer-songwriter is his identity, right? In the songwriting aspect, he kind of like sneaks up on you at times. Remember, "Love Yourself," Justin Bieber, famously written by Ed Sheeran, Grammy nominated, and all that, right? And that's one of those like, oh shit, this is actually like really well done. And I just feel like I don't have that thought often on Ed's actual songs. And this Number 6 Collaborations project is Ed Sheeran just making a DJ Khaled album, except he's actually performing with all his guests. So in a sense, it's even safer, and he can just kind of float in on these songs and oftentimes get killed by his guests on said songs, but it's okay because he said Sheeran. It doesn't actually matter. There are no stakes for him anymore.
Right. Edward Sheeran, another one. That's actually a funny visual. However, like, even though his guests obviously are the ones that stand out on this, there is something to be said for the way he's able to almost be this chameleon like musician at this point, where he can kind of jump between genres. And even if you don't necessarily like the songs, it's not like he's unskilled or untalented. Like,
oh, certainly not.
It's pretty impressive, at least in that respect. And like you said, he works with a range of artists on this. I mean, he's got Camila Cabello, he's got the Cardi B on the same song, Chance, Stormzy, who, by the way, just headlined Glastonbury, which is just insane.
Very timely feature, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Taking back to London. That's a good one.
Bieber, Travis Scott, LMI, her, Skrillex, which that song was tough. And then he ends it with Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars. So he's got the star power on here. Did any of these songs stand out to you that you liked?
Yeah. So, and to your previous point, I think he is good at blending of the genre. And despite what the dude joked about in yesterday about keeping it to the brothers in terms of rapping, as far as like pop rap crossover late hip hop goes, he's not bad at it. Even if it often can be quite cringy. I think he's a talented guy, and he's mixed sounds for such a long time that it doesn't feel like he's riding any new waves or anything. I would never charge him with that.
Right.
Now, I think a song like South of the Border, I think Camilla and Cardi just take that song from him. Like, frankly, I've been thinking about it as the Camilla song and listened to it a few times already. I really like that one because these are actually like really inspired features. I think a problem with Khaled albums, a problem with movie soundtrack albums these days, stuff like that, is they're all just phoned in verses half the time. They're probably pre-recorded. Like, no one tried hard. They didn't need to. They're just there for the bag. And while I feel like most of these people appreciate the bag they got from Ed Sheeran's label for this, they still all tried pretty hard. Like Camilla and Cardi, I really liked. I really like Stormzy. Again, I think he references his Glasto set on this. That's also, I think, probably one of the better rap crossovers Ed's done. They actually switch flows, like they're Hove and Kanye and Gotta Have It. Like it was actually sounded quite good. Actually, I was quite impressed. And then Blow with Chris Stapleton and Bruno Mars, kind of an interesting song, just because I think my problem with the album is it's a bit of a mess because nothing really sounds like anything else. Maybe Ed's performances sometimes will sound the same, but the beats, the vocal deliveries from the guests are all over the place. There's really no through line at all. And the last song being Blow with Chris Stapleton really going for it. And then Bruno just kind of mixing in. It's just interesting.
Yeah, and I agree that it's a bit of a mess, and there's no like through line that kind of ties it all together. But Blow in particular feels like it belongs on a completely different project because it comes in so hard. And most of the songs, even if it's like, Travis Scott or like Meek Mill and A Boogie on Thousand Nights, these songs still sound like Ed Sheeran songs in terms of like the intensity and kind of like that pop folky with a hip hop beat underneath. But Blow just is like this crazy guitar whirring rock song that's just like, okay, where's this coming from? I really feel like where Ed hits his stride in this album is when he's working in the R&B sphere. I feel like his song with Yeba, Best Part of Me, which is probably the softest song on the album, but stood out as one that I thought was pretty good. I thought both LMI and her give really good performances, and I especially liked her's performance on I Don't Want Your Money. I felt like those were the moments the album really shined. Like you said, though, when he's rapping, other than maybe with Stormzy, like Cross with Chance and P&B Rock, I thought was terrible. Antisocial, I mean, Travis Scott,
bad,
just
flat
not
out bad.
Just not good. So I guess Meek stood out, but remember the name was probably the most cringeworthy one.
Oh,
Just Eminem and 50 blatantly riding some coattails here. It's not good.
no, it's not like that one at all. A shout out given Jay Huss a feature. Shout out to UK. We got to remember Ed is an Englishman. But pairing Jay Huss with Thug is super weird.
Yeah.
But I guess we shouldn't be surprised with the Old Town Road feature he just did. You said the Skrillex song is tough. I definitely agree with that. Travis features weird. Honestly, I think I Don't Care isn't good either. That song is huge. It's a big, really popular song right now. But it just feels like a very uninspired, bland performance from both Ed and Biebs. Like, there's nothing special about either of that. And I don't even actually find it that catchy. So that was actually quite a disappointing song for me since it first came out. Khalid, nothing to speak of really from him. But yeah, I feel like for the Ed fans, they're just happy to hear new stuff. It's been about 2 years, and because of most of these features are actually pretty inspired, I think fans of those artists will probably latch on to some of these songs too. So it's probably wrong to call the album anything but a success. You know, it's clearly going to be a success for him. But I do find it was pretty safe, at least from Ed's performance angle of it all.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.